No, I have a quick question from Reyes World TV. He wants to know what PlayStation games you play.
Nope.
Yeah. What's going on, everyone? Whether it's a beer, a shot, or even a glass of wine, grab your favorite beverage and welcome to the Level 857 Video Game Podcast. We are your hosts, Alg857.
The Taunted Stallion.
Sticks.
Turbo 857.
And your boy Big Shop. What up?
That's right, that's right. And before we get on in, just real quick, wanted to let everybody know who's watching this on YouTube. Thank you very much for subscribing. For those of you who have not, make sure you do so and hit that notification bell so you can watch all of our videos and you don't miss nothing. That's right.
You don't want to miss a single one.
That's right. And without further ado,
We have a very special guest, game programmer Noah Steam is going to be on the podcast later. He is responsible for creating the text extraction and insertion tools that came about to make 2 English translation patches for 2 Sega Saturn RPG gems, Dragon Force 2 and Sakura Wars.
all right.
Actually, to correct you, Kev, he's
He's
not
on the-
going to be on later. He's
he's on
actually
now.
on right now.
Yeah, look at that.
That's
He's
what
on
I
right
meant.
now.
He's
Later,
on right now.
he's gonna
He's
get-
on right now.
What's going on, Noah?
That's
How
why
you
I
doing,
meant
man?
later. He's right now is later.
Welcome aboard, man.
What's going on, Noah?
Nice of you to join us.
Absolutely.
And like every podcast, we always start off with the games we've been playing for the last week. So who'd like to go first?
I guess, you know what? It'll probably
over
be
there.
me because I'm
Okay.
pretty quick and simple. I already beat the long games that I've already been playing for a while. So,
Before you get into that,
oh,
Oh, whoa.
let's ask Noah to introduce himself to everyone listening and
Yeah.
tell them what you're about.
Well, I am a professional game programmer. I'm not gonna say where I work, but I also do like these translation projects. So the latest one that came out was Sakura Wars on Saturn, and the one that was before that was Dragon Force 2, which is a sequel to one of my favorite games of all time.
Yes.
Sweet.
And yeah, the audience might not know, but I was involved in those 2 translation projects as well. We're going to talk about that later, Dragon Force 2.
Good.
And a little bit Sakura Wars. You really kind of took that one over yourself, but we'll get into that later though. That's pretty crazy how that one came about and got finished. In the record time that it got finished, so yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Eric, what were you playing?
I am playing a lot of Smash Brothers Ultimate ever since the new Byleth character has come out. The
Byleth.
controversial character.
Control.
I was
I
about
like
to
that.
say controller. No.
Byleth.
Byleth.
Wagwan.
Came out. Actually played online last night, and I probably 85% of the people I've been playing against have picked Byleth, and I smoked all of them.
They're quick to jump online.
But yeah, they're trying to learn how to use them. I'm trying to learn how to use them because I like the character from the game Fire Emblem Three Houses. Other than that, I could have sworn I was playing another game, but I think that's been the only one.
Gears 5.
Oh, Gears 5. What act are we up to? 3?
We finished Act 2 and we got like the first portion of Act 3 done. Well, not even the first. We did like some side quests.
How many acts the game has?
4.
Yeah, we're making our way. Oh, I forgot. State of Decay 2.
Oh,
I've actually
Welcome back.
Yeah, I've actually
why
came back to that.
Why are you playing that again?
Because they deleted everything that I had on there. Microsoft, thank you. And
Stop talking
you're
junk
the
about
Microsoft.
Xbox.
Listen,
Stop talking
listen,
junk about
you need to
Xbox,
contact
and
them.
your stuff won't disappear.
Contact them.
Just saying.
Contact them.
I'm just saying.
All right?
I don't have any problems with my
Anyway.
stuff.
But yeah, they added customizations for outfits and stuff like that. So it kind of like feels like a fresh new game for me. So I'm like, okay, I actually still enjoy it. And the difficulties they added, it's foul. It's
Yeah?
I put it up 1 difficulty. 2 people died already. I'm like,
Wow.
damn, all right.
Even after playing Days Gone.
Yeah, like damn. Yeah,
Even after playing Days Gone. How was the transition from that to Days Gone?
different.
Different?
A lot
Oh,
different.
wow.
I get a different thing from that
Okay.
and Last of Us. Both of them. They're all different.
Wow.
A lot of people say like, oh, zombie. No, they're all
Right.
different. They all feel differently. I can't say
Right.
It's so tough for me to say like what I prefer. You know, like my mood. You know, if I want some story based shit like Last of Us or Days Gone. You know, I'll play those, which are both kind of different. But if I want like some survival stuff where I'm building a community and stuff, Stay of Decay 2. Oh. But that's what I'm playing.
Interesting.
All right. I actually took a little bit of a break. I took 3 days off from playing Tetris 99.
Okay, moving on to Jay. No.
However,
so
I went back yesterday. I just got back into it and a little rusty at first. Played 3 games. The first 2 games I did horrible. I think it was like in 65th or whatever, and then the next game I did 25th, and then the last one, first place.
Yeah.
First place.
About damn time.
So I came back.
About damn time.
It's a tough game, man. The competition's tough, man.
When
It's
you
fierce.
stop,
Yeah, I get crushed every time I play.
whenever you're doing a competitive game, you stop.
It's,
you pay for it.
Yeah,
You pay for it. You really do.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it.
All right. For me, the game I've been playing recently is not a game. It's DaVinci. I've been trying to learn.
Oh, editing software?
Yes.
I was like, wait, I never heard of that game.
Yeah, that's not a game.
Video editing software.
it's all?
Okay, it kind of is.
I thought it was going to say Da Vinci Code. I'm like, they made a game based on that?
No, DaVinci Resolve
That's the
and
challenge.
Premiere. I'm trying to determine which one I'm going to actually use for the foremost and what I should get stuff for. So this week I've been trying to add shortcuts and all that. It's a freaking game learning how to do this stuff.
No, it
man.
is.
Yeah.
But just trying to remember, especially if you're using both programs, it's a pain in the ass.
Okay.
But certain things, one does one better than the other, and then something does something else better. So I had to figure out which one I want to use overall.
Right.
So it's a toss up right now, but I'm leaning towards DaVinci at the moment.
Wow.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm used to Adobe Premiere, man, but whatever. I could use
I liked it.
whatever.
Smash Ultimate. I still had to play that last night after you talked about the Byleth was online. And I was
Byleth.
killing everybody. I was killing a lot of people online. It was really
All the
great.
Bylos, all right?
Yeah, it was a really great
Yeah.
session.
Bye, left.
Yeah.
They got to learn today.
Yeah.
Did you start using Byleth?
I started using Byleth too. I won 2 matches. I was just like, I like Byleth. He's my style. I could kind of fight with him. I like the way his
I played
attacks
one
are,
match and lost, and I'm like, I need to learn timing with him better, but he's good.
He's a good character.
He's strong. He's so strong.
Yeah, but mainly I started playing Walking Dead: New Frontier because
you got it
they
for the
finally released I guess episode 2 and episode 3. I already beat episode 1, episode 2, so I'm on 3. Then I'm gonna buy 4 after that, and I'll finally be able to shed tears like Jay did.
Wait, for what's this?
The Switch.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not for the Switch?
Yeah, it came
Oh,
out for the Switch. I nabbed it. I was like,
didn't even know it
yo,
was
I can
out.
continue the story of Walking Dead finally. All right. So, yes, that's
Meanwhile,
pretty
it's been out on PS4 and you own that.
No, I need it on the go. I have to see it on the train. I have to do it. I can't watch it at my house. Baby's crying. No, it's not
Gotcha,
gonna work.
I
I was just
you.
about to say,
I
yeah,
got
you need a little time away from the baby.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, as long as you're playing it, that's fine. About time.
How about you, Chalk?
Gears 5 with this guy over here.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a lot of time on my hands recently, but I just got back into Dragon Ball Fighters today, actually. I had a 20-minute stream where I just crushed this dude repeatedly.
Oh,
It was bad.
And he kept playing you?
I think he played like 5 games.
He got his
yeah?
ass whooped each time?
Destroyed.
yo, you
I love
remember?
it.
You remember his name? Shout him out.
Nah, I
sorry,
don't
sorry,
remember his
sorry.
name. I'm not doing that.
No, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Nah, I could.
You know what? I have a screenshot of when I got the first place in Tetris 99, but
Yeah.
it's like there's a bunch of Japanese names, and I'm like, I can't.
You can't shout them out. Who you be?
Maybe you could do a translation. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I've been playing recently. Getting back into it.
All right. And how about you, Noah? What have you been playing?
Been playing Assassin's Creed Origins, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I started it back when it came out, which was, I don't know, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, just got busy and then, I was working on the translation projects, which took up like all my free time. So now that that's done, I'm picking up the games again and going through this one. And it's awesome. I mean, I love the series. I haven't loved all the games, but this one is definitely, I think, the best one I've played.
Oh, Origin's your favorite.
Origins.
What comes in number 2?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I think Assassin's Creed 2.
Assassin's Creed
Oh
2.
shoot.
A lot of people
I
love
respect
to.
You know
that.
what's
A lot of
crazy?
people love
That's
to.
actually
that.
my first Assassin's Creed. I didn't play the first one. I started with the second one.
Brotherhood's
And I
my
like it.
second. Brotherhood's my second.
Brotherhood was great.
I love Brotherhood.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite is Unity. I love Unity.
I love
Oh,
Unity
wow.
too, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of Black Flag.
Black
Yo,
Flag was
everyone is
great.
different. That's crazy.
Flag,
That's cool though.
Yeah.
That game was fire.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like the one on Vita. Nah,
Wow.
I didn't play that.
Oh,
That's not a bad
Wow.
one. That came out for
Liberty,
X Liberation,
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation,
It's like
whatever.
What was your least favorite Assassin's Creed?
The ones that I played, probably Revelation. I mean, it wasn't a bad game, but it was just it wasn't memorable.
Oh shoot, I
Wasn't
forgot
memorable.
about that one. Yeah.
Ezio was still the main character in that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah,
Old man
old
Ezio.
Ezio. Yeah.
Old man
It was right
Ezio.
after.
It was good, but it
Brotherhood.
wasn't. Yeah, I kind of agree with him on it.
It's
It
not
wasn't like
memorable.
It kind of just like felt like an addition to the
Mhm.
other one.
Yeah,
rather than like a new.
like a DLC.
Like an
Yeah.
expansion.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I thought it was really cool that they showed what happened to Altair, and it was like a really great way to close the franchise. Like it was really well, but I guess I just couldn't get into the Istanbul setting, or Constantinople setting, which I was pretty excited to play. Like I was like, oh wow, that's it'd be cool to play in that city, but like maybe it was just like that formula was kind of tired at that point. But story wise, it was great.
Yeah, it was a great story, and I like that they closed up Altair's story because
Yeah.
that was a big, that was like a big selling point of that game too,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was good how they brought that.
I always
to a
wondered
close.
what happened to him after like the first one.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah. But with Assassin's Creed, they always got to kind of like they do too many things in a row, and then they got to take a year break
Yep.
and kind of just redo stuff,
Which is good
But yeah,
because they were doing the yearly releases.
yeah, you
for
can't do yearly.
how many?
You gotta chill. With
Yeah, like how
Now
do
it's
you
2
do
years,
that?
yeah.
Because those games are so highly detailed,
Yeah.
and the cities were massive. Like, how did you?
Well,
do?
you get two studios to
they have a
do
bunch
it.
of studios. They have more than two, I think. Yeah, they
Yeah,
have,
oh, yeah,
they have
more
more
than
than
two.
two doing that, and
Yeah.
they were just everyone was
Yep.
working on Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Most of their freaking company was working on Assassin's
Pretty
Creed.
much.
games.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's just,
that
but
makes sense.
it still was overkill though.
Yeah.
They needed the break.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
that being said, let's move on to the news.
To the news. Yeah.
Pow.
That's where
Alright.
the color changes
Listen, so
What?
and the heat turns up. No, it's like the background's red.
All right, let's cut
All
this
right,
mic. Cut
so
this
listen.
mic.
All right.
There we go.
this is Level 857 News, where we talk about the news. We don't report the news. We discuss it.
Yes.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
new Atari video game themed hotels coming to Phoenix, Arizona, and other major cities. So, how do you guys feel about Atari as a company bringing out something like this? And do you think that it's relevant to gaming now?
Is it
You know what?
before the VCS comes out? or
Yeah,
after?
I was thinking that.
Actually, I did more.
That's where all the
research
funding went.
yes,
That's where all the funding for the VCS went.
We're actually gonna leave links in the description of all these topics here, so everybody out there can see this. But I was thinking about this today, and I actually saw it on the local news this morning, and they explained a little bit more in detail of what was gonna be at the hotel.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why they were going to use it was for gaming tournaments for esports and stuff like that.
That's cool.
And also they were going to have like if you wanted, like, how like Chuck E. Cheese, like you bring your kids to a
yeah, like
hotel, they would
Chuck
have
E.
like
Cheese.
parties for kids where they could bring
That's dope.
game related stuff like that. And then I thought to myself, GameStop needs to rebrand and they need a new thing, and they're looking to find a buyer. So I'm like, I started
Yo,
thinking like,
you remember that meme I said?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that actually made me think about that. I'm like, you know what? GameStop is looking for a buyer, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, if Atari, that's been
Atari
where
should
are
be
they
like,
gonna
I'll
be?
buy
They've
all
been
of your
gone.
stores for
They've been lost
$3.
forever.
I'm
But
serious.
no, I'm serious though. Like, imagine if GameStop rebranded into a chain of hotels where they focus on gaming and like for tournaments, for events, for
It's not
that'd
bad.
be
That
cool.
that would be great.
Well,
But
that's
anyway,
what-
that's what I thought today. I was just like,
Atari plans to create a unique vacation experience,
Right.
combining lodging and one-of-a-kind video game themed destination. And they want to do virtual reality and augmented reality also, which could be awesome if the rooms are built a certain way, because you're not getting that in your living room, not the
Right.
way they really want you to experience it.
Yeah.
So if they do have this futuristic type look, I mean, I don't know what games or what the actual thing that they're gonna do with it.
Pong.
Yeah, I know what they
Actually,
have.
That's the first thing I
did you guys see
Your
that
bed will
Pong
be a
table
Pong.
where it was like
Yeah.
3D?
Listen,
Like Pong?
your bed will
coffee
be
table.
your bed will be a Pong.
Yeah.
And then you have to play with the other person across the room on your bed. It's terrible. No.
Yeah, I was like, how's
Wow.
this shit gonna
Shift over
work?
and
Are
you
you
move.
gonna like walk into an empty room and
Yeah.
see a king size bed and fall into thin
I don't
air?
know, it's
Like,
interesting,
hit the
man.
floor.
Well, I mean, what franchise do you think they can rely on? Like they have Pong, they have what, like Centipede, and they
Breakout?
have like Breakout and like Asteroids.
Yars
like,
Revenge.
Space Invaders.
They said they're gonna have like newer games in there. I don't know. Maybe they can make some. Like I don't know if they can get Capcom anybody involved with it as just a video game spot.
Yeah,
but Nintendo's working on their thing, so
Right.
maybe they'll want to compete with Nintendo doing their theme park and all this type of thing, and get other brands to work with Atari for it. So it's just not Atari branded stuff.
That'd be interesting.
I hope it
Because
works because
Universal Studios with Atari Hotel and
that would be insane.
right?
That would
With
be
Nintendo
insane.
Land in there.
I mean, I for one hope it works because that opens the doors for other companies. So, like, if there's
Yeah.
a Sega hotel, I'm going.
Hey, Sega.
yeah.
There's,
like a
there's
themed hotel.
there's a Capcom hotel.
Yeah.
What?
Well, didn't they have in Japan? Didn't they have a Neo Geo Land or something like that? Like a Neo
Probably,
Geo
yeah.
theme park?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was too
Japan.
expensive.
Yeah, just like the console.
the memory is insane.
I'm about a Sega hotel. I'm about that. Hell yeah.
Sega Hotel.
All
That'd be
depends
dope.
how
That'd be
much
cool.
the rooms are, you know?
Oh
What is
my
the price
come
for
on.
the rooms?
God, here we go.
You know?
Listen, you get a free game with every room.
Noah, what do you think, Noah?
For Sega Hotel.
Hey, you want the Sega hotel?
Sega Hotel all the way.
Yes, I'm about that life.
Would you go to this hotel if it's like semi fun?
This Atari Hotel? Yeah, I mean it's I don't even know, like, has Atari been making games recently? I mean, I know they were even up to like, I don't know, like the 360 time, but I don't know if they've released anything like on PS4 or Xbox One. Have they? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
No,
actually.
they don't really have.
That's a good question.
The
They
only
were-
thing they got going on is that VS,
The VCS?
the VCS
Listen,
thing.
I know
Yeah.
They've been
they have
hoarding.
history. They have history. That's about all I could see them working
Yeah.
with right now.
Yeah.
They can't. I don't.
If they make it as just like a general video game, just like it doesn't have to be just Atari games, but yeah, put a little bit of Sega in there, and
You'd
Yeah,
be
I
sold
think-
if it was Sega.
I think they'd have to integrate with other companies.
They might have to. I was
Yeah.
thinking, like
Definitely.
how they
little
gonna stand
partnership
alone on
with Sega or
themselves?
something, you know?
I like
Namco,
it.
maybe. Yeah.
But the simplicity of some of their early games in VR, if they do it in a fun way, can work also. Because you don't have to get too complicated and be like, okay, I'm in Super Mario Brothers, and this is not, like you don't have to get that in depth because
Right.
it's not there yet, the technology. But if they do come out with something like I'm playing
Yeah.
like ping pong or something in virtual reality, and it's like Pong,
Right.
but I'm with like a racket, whatever they want to do, then it might be pretty fun. So I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm not gonna go out of my way and be like, yo, let me get to the Atari place, but I want to see how and what they're gonna plan on doing.
I'm more curious to see what that would entail. Like,
Right.
what would you do in a Atari hotel? Like, how are you gonna theme it? It's all about the theme and how you incorporate the Atari brand in the hotel.
Is there gonna be a honeymoon suite in the Atari hotel?
I was thinking the same thing. Like,
You're thinking of the Atari Motel. They charge you by the hour.
Oh,
With
man.
quarters. You put
Would
it in
that
the
be more
machine every time.
successful? Yeah, with quarters. Stop it.
Like an arcade, man.
The
What?
Atari 2600 hotel.
What about the room service? What are they gonna do for room service? You know, they're gonna have food.
It's gonna
What
be
kind of
on
food? They're gonna have like wraps and burgers.
Burger time.
Pac-Man.
Burger time.
Burger time.
Burger time. Hell yeah.
I'm interested. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be successful because Atari's not a name you can bank on like that.
Yeah,
Right.
it's very risky. It's a risky
Yeah,
bet.
with this generation. But I mean, with older people who are actually going to the hotels and traveling, maybe they'll want to just go with the family and do something
Yeah.
because they don't have anything really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they're the
The first
first,
of its kind.
if they're the first and they market it correctly, I mean, the building looks pretty cool. I like the design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me think of like, because we can't think of it, and it's like the Amico, like when we were talking about like people can't conceptualize the system because we haven't played it and we haven't seen it in person. So it's like, I almost feel like it'll make more sense once it's in development.
Hopefully.
And we see the commercials, and then it's like, oh, okay.
As soon as they give
I
us
see what's going
an idea of what they're doing,
Right.
then we'll be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right, better idea. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued.
It's intriguing.
I would say I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Same here.
But I'm with Noah on that Sega. I'm about that at that Sega.
Well, I hope this paves the way for that, though.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like this
Sega
pioneer.
Hotel. You know what the funny thing is? If they said Sega Hotel, I'd want to go instantly. I don't even want details.
Yeah.
I don't want details. Just
Yeah.
I'm going if it's a Sega Hotel.
Yo, how
I'm with
crazy
it.
would it be if they pioneered the gaming hotel industry, and they died just like in the gaming?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
And then Nintendo comes in and does the same shit,
Wow.
and Sega dominates, and then Sega comes in and does it. Then we saw that.
Listen, it'll turn to a midway.
History repeating itself, but in the hotel business.
I think Nintendo owned a hotel before.
Really?
I think they might have. That might be one of their businesses before they got into games. I gotta look that
No
up.
shit.
I think they might have done that. Cards and I think hotel was another one.
Let us know in the comments, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to quote because I might be wrong. But I have a good feeling I might be right.
And he usually is
All
wrong.
right. And shout out to Taco Operator in the chat.
Hey,
Yes,
what up,
thank-
Taco Operator?
thanks
Hey,
for the
what's going
follow,
on?
Taco Operator.
We
We
can use some
appreciate you.
tacos up in here. That's a good idea.
Hell yeah, I would love a taco right now.
How do you go about operating that?
Yeah, right.
Can you send us tacos?
It's taco.
Can you say, yeah, is there a way that could happen? Let's get to that next.
All right, let's
news.
move on to the
Next
next
one.
news.
We're talking about tacos now.
We talk about tacos now. Next.
Talk about tacos?
No, we're
Talk
talking
about practice.
No, we're talking about this. God of War director Corey Barlog? Yeah.
Barlow.
So God of War director Corey Barlog is so close to
I
Balrog.
love it. I love that you fucked something.
You trying to get on this alpha tournament
The
too?
boxer
Is
from
that what
Street
you
Fighter.
Want? You want this work?
Well, he would like to see the series adapted for Netflix. How do you guys feel about a God of War TV series rather than a movie if they were working on something live action? Based on what Netflix has done with something like, say, The Witcher or Castlevania.
First thing that popped in my head was The Witcher. So I'm like, if they do it as good as The Witcher, I only seen like 2 episodes of Witcher, but it looks pretty good. I like it. You know, they've done it pretty well. I have high hopes for it. I think that would be cool.
But do
I'm
you
on
think
board,
it would
man.
be good as a TV series or a movie if you had your choice?
If I had my choice, so I would rather wrap all that up in a movie.
Nah, man.
Maybe
if
a
I had
series.
if I had my choice,
Yeah. Maybe a
it could
series.
it could work episodically, but I would rather have a Hollywood investment in that game. You
Like
know
a
what
Clash
I mean?
of the Titans type. big
Yeah,
deal?
yeah.
So you want to see, because it's epic. You want to see these giants and
Yes.
things, and you can't really do that on a TV.
yeah, you can't really do that on
Come on,
Netflix. I
man.
mean,
Game of Thrones.
unless
Game
it's
of
an
Thrones.
unless it's an anime. You know what I mean?
I was thinking more anime style because I don't trust Hollywood
Yeah.
with
I
video
hear you.
game movies. I don't trust them.
I mean, that's understandable.
I don't trust them when it comes to video
I
games.
don't wanna see-
I don't trust them.
I definitely don't want to see a movie of God of War. I'm the only one I haven't played is the recent one. That's the only one I played. Every single one, even on the PSP, played all of them. Amazing fucking game, great storyline, awesome boss fights. It has to be episodic. It has to be, in my opinion. I think it's
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards episodic.
I mean, the bright side about episodic is the fact that they'd be able to flesh out the story and tell it properly.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah.
But
Yeah. It's if anything's live action, I'm
'Cause you
always
can-
on the fence.
because
I'm
not
always
for
on the
nothing,
fence.
you can't do those epic boss battles on Netflix. I don't think they have the budget for that.
If they're willing to spend the budget
Come
and
in.
make it that way, then I'm
Maybe.
all for it.
Chalk Game of Thrones, man. Those dragons.
That's Game of Thrones. You know how much money it was to do that?
Exactly.
Still,
and,
though,
that,
man.
and that was HBO money.
Yeah. So you want it? Is this
And,
it's
and,
Netflix?
and not for
If they
nothing.
announce it for HBO, then I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take a peek.
I mean, either way, I'm excited because I'll buy into God of War. I'm with it. But I mean, yeah. Now I guess now thinking about it, episodic might work better
Huh?
because you get to tell the whole story better that way.
Yeah.
Because
that's true.
the movie, a Hollywood movie, at most will probably be like 2 hours and 20 minutes, and then people start tuning out.
I think you need more time. That's why I'm like against the movie thing. I think you need more time.
Yeah.
To tell that
But
full
Chalk,
story.
The Witcher, first scene in the water, fighting that spider chick. That was awesome, man.
It was.
That
but-
was the
That wasn't a
effect.
mountain.
Yeah, exactly. That wasn't a mountain. That wasn't a giant dragon that you're literally fighting on the back of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No, did you see The Witcher?
I
How'd
did.
you like it?
I wasn't a fan.
Okay.
Wow.
Like I like the world, I like the fantasy aspect of it, but I just thought like the characters were underdeveloped and the writing was all over the place. And the characters, like the decisions they make, like later on, didn't really make sense to me because I'm like they've been developing this character to be like a certain way, and then they totally change it. I don't know. I just I didn't think the writing was very strong. But as far as God of War, like I personally would prefer a TV show as well because I feel like there's so much story that can be explored with that game. Putting in a 2-hour movie, I don't think it would do it justice.
Nope.
Would
So
you
many-
like it live action or animated?
I mean, there's a bigger risk going live action,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Always.
More chance of them messing
Yep.
it up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, pull it off, it'd be really
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah, I think the epicness of it, if they did it in live action, would be really.
To be honest,
really
I
good.
picture it live action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
but you
I
want to see that
really-
type of visceral action
Yeah.
But
in
it's-
real, like.
It's so messed up. Because if
However-
you ruin it, it's ruined. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like, and I
Oh, yeah.
don't like that risk. You know, I really
think
don't like that.
if they were gonna do it animated, I'd like to see it CG, like animated, like the game.
Kind of like looking not too cartoony, right?
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
too
Too
cartoony.
cartoony.
Not like Castlevania.
No.
Okay.
The good thing about doing it that way is you can get the actual voice actors who did the
Yeah,
actual
yeah,
part,
there you
exactly.
go.
and
There
then
you
they
go.
could
That
do
might be
it.
it.
Yeah.
And then they could do it like in that form.
Exactly.
What about Castlevania? Did you mess with Castlevania, Noah?
I watched the first season. I have not finished the second season yet. The first season was really good. For whatever reason, like I was watching the second season and I just felt like suddenly the voice acting seemed really bad to me for some reason. So really, really weird. So I ended up switching it. I was just trying out different languages. I'm like, maybe something sounds better, and I ended up in German.
German, you like
Watched
this?
it in German.
Wow.
That's
Yo,
amazing.
you know what's funny? I'm the same way. Don't kill me for this, but I didn't finish the second season, man. I still haven't finished it.
Of Castlevania?
Yeah, I
Okay.
got sidetracked. I
You're
forgot
dead.
about it.
You're dead to me.
I only watched like 3
Wow.
episodes and then I stopped and I
So
forgot
what we're
why.
going to do? We're going to cut Al's mic, and he's done. For
No,
the
don't do
podcast.
They're coming out with a third season. A
Listen.
third season's supposed to be awesome.
Listen, first and foremost, finish the second season. It builds up. It's freaking crazy.
There's some
Yeah.
end
Yeah.
shit that happens that
Yeah.
I'm like,
You have to watch that.
oh my god.
If you're a fan of the games, I'm not saying a damn thing, but if you're a fan of the games, you have to
Spoil
finish.
it for me, man. Come on, let me stop.
He said spoiler for me. This guy.
I
but
love
yes.
Castlevania.
I want reactions on what
Wow, I
stuff
gotta see
happens.
it.
Stuff
I just
happens.
want a release date. I want a release date on the third season, guys.
Coming soon. Coming soon. But yeah, God of War, I mean, let us know in the comments if you would rather see or if you would like to see God of War on Netflix or would you prefer something like in the theaters or on HBO, whatever. If you would even like to see it at all, just let us know.
Ray's World TV has a hot take. He said God of War is better than Breath of the Wild.
Oh!
Shots
Oh,
fired.
oh, oh,
Shots
Terror-
fired.
Yo, that's the
Terror
same
Wave
dude from the
Road.
last
He's
challenge.
turning-
Yo, Terror
turning-
Wave-
Yo, he's
That's
dead.
the same dude.
Oh,
from the
no.
last challenge.
He's like,
Oh, no.
You rolled him up. You rolled him up.
So moving on to the next news.
He's triggered.
Go ahead.
Now he's bugging
Okay.
out.
Reyes, that was great.
That was good. I like that. That was good.
Moving on to the news.
He knows how to push buttons.
2 gambling bills will help game developers continue the practice of baking in loot boxes into games. So they're back. Loot boxes are back.
No.
It's just like auto-tune. It's back. You thought you got rid of
get rid
something
of
bad,
No.
and then it returns
Never going away.
with a vengeance.
No.
So let me see. So I'm gonna just go by bullet points here. We're not gonna get too much into it, but this is from this site here on ccn.com. So Washington lawmakers changed 2 bills about video game gambling directly impacting the loot box trend. Some free-to-play games may not be illegal gambling games anymore, and this decision could anger gamers looking to have loot boxes removed from all games.
Yep.
Wow.
So you know our stance, and most people's stance is on loot boxes. It's not something that we really want.
Gambling.
It is pretty much gambling, especially when they implement it in a way that keeps you playing over and over and over and just spending much more money than the actual game is worth.
Yeah.
So usually it's in a game that is free, which is more forgivable than something like a $60 game that offers it in it. So in order for you to progress, you have to spend or play and get loot boxes when you don't know what's going to happen with it. And it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Because like if there was a key you had to buy, $20 to get to a certain part, how would you feel about that in a game that cost you already $60, $70?
Yeah. It's,
No.
Like it's awful.
It's
and that's just-
robbery. It's robbery.
That's
and what if you
that's-
bought a box that could possibly give you that, and to up the ante of having it happen, you had to pay more money?
No.
Nope.
Or you can say, okay, I could do this 170 times and it might happen once for free, because then it's not illegal.
Yeah. It's.
I'd rather do it for free. If I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it, I'm doing it for free. Because like
But that's
all this extra unnecessary DLC or loot boxes or whatever. This is like one of the. I mean, I don't know if it's a loot box thing, but the reason why I didn't get Dead or Alive 6 was because the base of the game was $100. Excuse me.
Wow.
Listen, it costs like 1,000 something or something like that, an obscene amount of money to get everything in that game because you had to buy everything separate.
Nah,
That's
I'm good.
ridiculous.
Nah, that's why I didn't buy it. And that game looks awesome.
What's
But-
that?
What was it, like the outfits or
Yes.
or just modes in the
I
game.
think the outfits and I think some characters.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
They charge you for everything.
I'm like,
Dead or Alive 5. Like they had like I don't know, like 1,000 skins or something.
yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, but I'm not getting that game till it goes on sale.
So EA had a problem with the loot boxes, obviously, and
Yep.
Yeah.
they had it in the old Star Wars game, and then they didn't put it in the new one, and the new one was still successful. So that showed them that, hey, maybe we don't have to put this in the game. Obviously, they're making less money, maybe, than putting it in the game because that's just a way to profit. And I don't blame them for finding a new way to do it, but you can't charge us full price for the game and expect us to spend $2 here, $2 here, $2 here.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
That's
they did
crazy.
that with the other Star Wars game,
No, I know.
Battlefront 2, and that was a huge backlash, and they took it out.
Yeah,
And then,
but they didn't put
but
it in
was
the
too
new
late.
one,
It was
and
too
they
late.
didn't put it in the new Need for Speed either. Need
Right.
for Speed Heat.
Right, I heard about
And they
that, yeah.
recently just added another thing that you can pay for, like to open the map or to get
Right.
icons on the map to show up. It's not anything you need to do, which is okay, but they
Right.
still are getting kind of greedy. They're like,
The
maybe
thing
we
is-
could just try and slide this in there. They won't
think
be
that-
mad.
They're more focused on trying to get a buck from someone than actually making people happy.
You know, it sucks.
Hence
That's not
business.
It
most
sucks
of the
because
That's a fucked up way.
it
of doing
really
business.
sucks because it's the only way to combat that is like everybody has to, like the community has to fucking
Not
vote
buy
with
it.
their wallets.
Yeah, but they're making more money with it.
Wow.
No one's stopping that.
No,
the
well-
whole generation growing up with phones and
The
Well,
drones,
you know,
the
they're like
mobile,
drones.
the
Those
mobile
like-
market.
the
is
mobile
doing-
market
Yo,
is
on those
grinding
mobile
on this
games,
hard.
too. Yeah, I mean, mobile games with loot boxes are crazy too. It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
bananas.
Oh, that's why they thrive.
That's one
Yeah.
of the
But stay
yeah,
there.
It's like
though.
it's,
Let's stay there.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of
Stay on my
loot
phone.
boxes,
Don't go to the consoles.
Stay
Stay in the mobile.
Stay on my phone.
industry.
Stay off my console.
The Fire Emblem Mobile, which one is that one? The
Heroes.
Fire Emblem Heroes. I got
Fire
that
Emblem
one.
Heroes made so much more money than any of Nintendo's other properties on the mobile phone
Yep.
because of the way they had their loot boxes, basically.
They did free. They did a free download for it,
Mm.
and everything.
Oh, you could pay but you know what though? I've never paid for anything in that game, and I play it here and there. It's not as deep as a real Fire Emblem game, but it's like you never have to pay anything. I've never dropped a cent for that. If you want to buy all the orbs to unlock characters, which are random, you know, like you
And
could,
they do that.
like okay, you want to use 5 gems to get an axe character or a sword character or whatever, and I earned those gems by beating the stages and spending time with it. You could pay money if you want to do it, quick, but it's up to you to spend that money. I've never spent $1 on this game.
For some reason, it worked in that, and it didn't work in Mario Kart. I'm so glad
Yeah.
that it didn't take off as hard as it did for Mario Kart because that would have been the turning point.
That says something
Yeah.
about people.
Yeah.
That like it can only go so far, and then you can't.
Don't
can't
do it.
just
Don't
keep
do it to
replicating.
games that we're already aware of what you can do with.
Yeah.
Don't do that to like a Zelda and be like, you can only get weapons if you pay me
Yeah.
some money.
Yeah, when it's exclusive behind a random loot box, that's garbage.
But now they're gonna continue to do so now.
Well,
Imagine-
hopefully, I mean, I hope they try it, and then everybody is smart enough to know not to mess with it, and then
I hope it
they,
just fails
you know,
miserably.
and then they stop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
exactly.
that loop. I just
Yeah.
want it to all fail miserably.
But
I
it's
don't
going to take
understand.
the community to freaking
Because I'll be
prevent it from
damned.
happening.
I'll be damned. Even though this is a long shot, but I'll be damned if for some reason they come out with a Shining Force 3 remake and they bring out loot boxes with that shit. I will go to the damn company and like try to chop somebody's head off. I can't deal with that.
Now,
man.
actually, I just thought of something. There's games, right, that are rated E for everyone, right?
Right.
Right.
And it's rated E for everyone because actually gambling, if there's gambling in the game, it can't be rated E. It has to be rated, I think, teen or some shit like that.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But the last NBA, I think 2K that came out had a loot box system that basically simulated gambling, and it wasn't. They didn't even hide it either. There was literally like a roulette machine. That freaking you paid money,
It's annoying.
and it was a roulette, and it's like, but that was rated E for everyone. So like there was a big backlash with that because people were like, yo, this is fucking gambling. How the hell is this even like? I don't know, man. It's weird.
So there's still other countries like the UK and other states potentially looking to ban the loot boxes, and countries such as Belgium have also banned them. So, there's a chance that these can still get banned.
Good.
Right.
Good. They need to be.
Yep.
Need to be.
They
The
really
companies don't care. They don't
If you
want
find them in your game and don't like them, just don't pay for
Yeah.
them. Just
should. Yeah, you
Yeah.
shouldn't.
don't
Yeah,
pay.
that's it.
Just
Vote
play the
with-
game
vote with your
100
wallet.
extra hours. They're gonna make you buy these things.
Yeah,
with your wallet,
I mean, if you know you're gonna play the game and put time into it, and you can earn it, without paying for it, then do it. Like Gears 5, they have skins that you can earn, like different characters. You can and you have the option to buy them, or you can play the game and earn them. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me earn these characters.
Yeah.
Does it take a long time, or is it like a reasonable amount of time?
It's a reasonable amount of time.
Okay, that's fine.
Especially if you're going to be playing the game.
Yeah.
It's a reasonable amount of time.
You know what's funny? Like I think about like when I think about that, I think about like Mario Brothers, like when you like an older Mario Brothers, like Mario World, where they had those the mushroom house or whatever. You go in and you hit, you try to get the free lives or whatever.
Yeah.
Imagine if they charge you for every time you
Chill, bro.
to unlock.
Chill.
Like they didn't use in-game currency. You had to pay money. Like that's terrible.
Hey, you want the raccoon tail?
Yeah.
You gotta pay $10.
Yeah, right. You want the fire flower?
You crazy.
I don't think it'll ever get
thank
that bad. Never done. Don't
Yeah,
like
man.
it that bad.
Crazy.
All right, next bit of news.
Nintendo recently re-upped its trademarks on 39 games.
It's a lot.
So this is not new to the business. It's usually not such a huge amount of games.
Spring cleaning.
Yeah. Usually when your trademarks are running after about 10, 20 years, you're going to say, hey, I'm going to want that name again at some point, maybe, or not. But it's still a Nintendo property, so they're going to re-up their trademarks for it. But 39 games at the same time is either they did this all the same day back in the day, and they're like, yeah, well, I guess it's time to do it again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's possible. Maybe they said, hey, trademarking is a thing now. Let's do it for everything. And that's all the games they had out at the time.
Right.
But, it always piques our interest to see what titles are in there. Because if they have any plans for some of these older titles or something like that, then you're going to be like, hey, let's get that,
I saw some on there. I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
One in particular, which I've never played and I've always wanted to play,
It's a big list.
because I didn't have a GameCube, Eternal Darkness. Never played it. I watched you play it, and I was intrigued.
It's a good game.
There's a ton. There's a ton on
was
here. I'm not
intrigued.
going to go through the whole list. You can go on
Yeah, it's 39 games.
where
man.
is it? NintendoEnthusiast.com for this one.
Well,
Yeah,
TikTok's really slow, so you won't.
We're
be
gonna
able to
have-
do the whole thing.
Wow, disrespect.
We're gonna have a link in the description anyway. So
A limp link.
A
limp link.
A limp link. It's gonna be
You know what I
hanging.
mean?
So of the assortments, there's some of the bigger names. There's, some of the Legend of Zeldas, some of the Super Mario games, a lot of Kirby games, and some 3DS games, and Eternal Darkness, as you said.
Kid Icarus is in there, I thought.
Kid Icarus was saying next.
Wow. Wow.
And so, I mean, there's always hope for that, 3DS version of that coming to the systems with different controls. But there's a ton in there. A lot of them are titles that people have long forgotten. So it's not anything that you're gonna be like, oh, maybe all these are coming out. No, all these are not coming out. Maybe they just needed to trademark them to put them in like the old
Certain
school
things,
Nintendo
yeah.
things, like or the Super Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
What is it on the eShop?
No.
So maybe they just wanted to do that to bring them all up there at some point or any of that. But I'm not really too crazy about their trademarking. Nothing in there really was like, okay, I need that right now. So it is what it is.
But you're like a on the fence Nintendo guy. You're like undercover. He gave it a
Wow.
So none of the titles on there
you're
really
like,
piqued
wow.
my
face.
interest.
Well, there was a bunch of
He'll be like, "No, I'm not into it." Then it comes out, "Yeah, I'm into it." Yeah, like you gotta watch out
he's
for
a
Jay.
flip flopper.
He's a flip flopper. You can't
no.
trust anything Jay says.
So Noah,
He's a flip flopper.
what do you think of
Well,
these trademarks and how companies trademark their games and what this may mean?
To be honest, I haven't really followed this news too closely, but I mean, Nintendo's re-releasing the games like all the time on like every single platform. So I just imagine they're just trying to keep their, trademarks alive.
Okay.
Would there be anything in their catalog that if you saw, you'd be like, "Oh, they're coming out with that again"? Ooh.
F-Zero,
Hey,
actually.
F-Zero
I
guy.
respect that.
Okay.
They should
That has-
update
You know
that.
that's so
F-Zero.
overdue.
They should-
F-Zero
They
is
haven't
very
done that.
overdue.
Yeah, they haven't had one
Since what? GameCube.
GameCube.
Yeah.
GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the last time I knew one.
Yeah, it's
That was
about
a damn
time.
good game.
Very
Yeah,
overdue.
there's no F-Zero on here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
No, but they have Face Raiders.
What the hell is that?
That was a stupid
Wow.
game on the 3DS.
3DS.
It's like,
There's a bunch of 3DS games on there.
you snapshot your face, it
Yeah,
puts
yeah,
you
yeah.
on the stupid
It's like
thing.
on.
they had a
Listen, maybe they
AR
have
games and shit.
maybe they have a classic of 3DS or something.
They
coming.
got it. No, they got it. They really
Reyes
got it.
World TV said hopefully a Bravely Default collection for the Switch.
I heard a lot of good things about that.
Well, Bravely Default 2, right, has been
Yeah.
announced recently.
Yeah.
And they came out with a Bravely 2nd for 3DS, confusing everybody with their naming
Yep.
conventions.
Yep.
Um,
Same here.
But that would be nice if they did that. I think I played a lot of the first one before. I think I broke the 3DS and that got erased. And yeah, I
Oh,
started
for
that
real?
from the beginning. Yeah, I was like, that was one of the games that I got erased.
Oh,
And
shit.
I didn't want to start over again. But it was a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
game. Well, it was a great game.
While it lasted.
Well, there's a lot of portables. There's a lot of
Yeah.
Nintendo 64 games on there. So maybe a little classic version of that is coming. So
Was
No
Wave
mercy.
Race on there?
no,
Wave Race, no.
not that I see. No.
Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah, it hinted to me that they were maybe coming out with N64 games on the Switch online sooner than we think.
Possible.
Hopefully.
You know, maybe when they come out with the Switch Pro, that's going to be coming out the gate with the
Or what if they
N64
came
You
out
want
with
to switch stick?
Switch thick?
The Switch stick.
N64 Mini.
You've heard it here first.
Switch thick, that's what they're going to call it?
N64 Mini.
We're trying to get that to trend.
Coming out.
Switch thick.
All right, and that's the news.
And that's it, man.
Oh, man.
That's the
We'll see what develops with that.
news. And they're going to go to the...
I like how you like flash it like for 5 seconds and then just went away. He trying to play.
Yo,
it
that
off.
was my
He trying to-
transition, man.
He trying to play it off too. He's like, oh shit, why did I hit that so early?
No, man. That was my... Yo, you know what the sad part is? That I actually did that on purpose.
No, you did not.
I did. I
You
swear to God.
lying-ass
I swear to God, I did that on purpose.
He said, "Think." Oh,
I said, you know what? I was thinking in my head, I'm like, maybe there's a cool way to transition.
that
this.
was
I'm
not
like,
cool
nah.
at all.
All right, thank you for that.
Well, that was
All right.
a transition. If you needed a
Well,
bathroom
thanks.
break, if you can head out, and
Yeah,
have that real that fast.
I thought it would be better than just going straight to this. All right, whatever. All right. Editing on the fly. We're live, guys. We're live.
Yo,
everyone.
Al, don't let this dude get to you, son.
How
Don't
we
let this
doing?
dude get to you, son.
Well, now on to the interview with Noah Steam.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
How's it going, man?
Well, thanks for having me on here.
All right.
Thanks for showing up. We
Awesome,
appreciate
man.
you.
Absolutely.
We are really digging that background, man. I'm
Yes.
a big fan of that background.
All those
Yes.
games.
Yeah, tell us about
Oh,
some of the stuff you got on the wall there, real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Up there's like the Nintendo games, starting with the Switch, Switch, Wii U. Actually, there's some N64, GameCube. Then there's like the DS, 3DS, Game Boy Advance. There's like import Saturn games, Gen 1 and 2, Super Nintendo games over here. Some more Saturn games. All the Shining Force 3 games, actually. Yeah, I mean that is one of my favorite games on, the Saturn. Probably
Oh
one-
yes.
Oh, what game was
Okay
that?
with
I
it?
told.
Relax over
Hell
there,
yeah.
man. Chill.
Yes, I missed that, but
Jeez.
yes. Shining Force.
Unfortunately, only like a third of it came out into out of Japan. But anyways, I got fan translated later, so it's all available.
Yeah, no, you never played the fan translated scenario 2 and 3.
I have them. I played a little bit of them, but I unfortunately have not gotten a chance to actually play through them.
Wow. They're awesome
But-
games, and I highly
Really-
recommend it.
Yeah. Well, did you play through them?
Yes, I played through both of them. That's what motivated me to want to be a part of the Dragon Force 2. When I saw how great that translation was for scenario 2 and 3 for Shining Force, I was like, all right, what other Saturn games are there that need to be translated? And I was like, I wonder if someone went out and did the Dragon Force 2. And then I was searching for that, and that's how I found Vert Fanworks. I found Wolf, I found you, and that's how that got started. I was just like, oh, wow. But those translations for scenario 2 and 3, they're awesome.
They're spot on.
Yeah, they're like, I was just like, wow. So the story develops in that way. We really got shafted with that in the States. We really did. You just getting scenario 1. But you got to play part 2 and 3. Got to finish that story.
Yeah. I mean, and he, the person who is like the lead of that project, the project, they've been releasing like updates to their patch like constantly. Like, that project's been going on for a long time. I think like more than 10 years.
Wow.
10 years.
And something like that.
Wow.
It's definitely more
Something like that. It's like it's been going
Holy
for a
shit,
long
man. That's a
time.
long fucking time.
honest.
A decade.
And they just recently came out a patch, just like I think like half a year ago, like an update to a patch. So
Uh-huh.
that they've been, like continuing at it and just polishing it.
Yeah.
And they actually ended up like redoing the first game as well, because I didn't even know this, but apparently Sega of America kind of changed the ending
Right.
when they brought it, because there wasn't going to be a scenario 2 or 3 here, so they kind of changed the ending. So in the patched version, like the translated like the fan translated version,
Yeah.
they actually put put back the original ending. So that's
I
it's pretty neat.
What? I wonder what that
Wow.
original ending was.
So you got to play the first one.
So I gotta
Wow.
play.
Translate it.
I don't know. Obviously,
It gives you a reason to play it now.
well, what do you mean a reason? I always have a reason to play this game. I don't know if you can see Noah, but I had a custom shirt made a while ago. I have the characters from Shining Force 3. It says Shining Force 3 Remake with a question mark on it. Now, I have been dying. That's my favorite game all time that I've ever played in my entire life. Shining Force 3 is my favorite game.
This is Crusade.
Yeah, I am trying to find anybody or trying to just speak it into reality to get this game remade on the current consoles. Somehow, some way, we gotta all join in and make this happen. Like somebody has to get on this crusade with me and make this damn thing happen. Because to me, it's the best role-playing game ever made.
I'm about this Dragon Force 3 life though.
Dragon Force. Imagine Dragon Force 3. Imagine that. That'd be
I'm
crazy.
about that life, but I would like 1 and 2 brought over, and maybe redone also. But that Shining
I mean, maybe
That remake.
if like all the whenever Sega re-releases their old games, whether it's like on the Sega Genesis Mini or their Sonic collections or whatever, it's always the Genesis games. And I wish they would eventually move on and explore the Saturn library a little, because there's so many like gems on there that never made it to any other system.
Yep.
So
Like
many.
Dreamcast was great. Dreamcast was great. It has a great library, but like all the really good games got ported over to other systems.
Yeah.
The Saturn. So you still have like a ton of great games on there, which are locked away unless you have a Saturn. So
That's true. That's
There's a lot of
unfortunate.
There's a lot of games on the Saturn that need a graphical upgrade, not so much the gameplay upgrade, but they need.
a
I
remake.
want to see it
Just an update, man.
better looking.
An update, man.
Yeah, like the
Polish.
Panzer Dragoon stuff.
Absolutely.
Like that is such a work of art that
Mhm.
needs to be like shared with the current technology.
Especially Saga.
I'd take a Burning Rangers remake.
I'm agreeing on that. Actually.
Imagine the fire now.
That's what I'm saying. Like Burning Rangers would be tremendous.
You didn't like the pixels, man? The
Dude.
pixelated flame? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that just shows you how great those games are, because I played through Shining Force 3 multiple times, and the
several
graphics
times.
do not hold up. The graphics are polygons are falling off and stuff, but it's still
Yeah.
the best game I've ever played. And if they updated that even to GameCube standards, I would have a heart attack. that needs to be remade. Like all those games need to be remade.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow. No, that's true. That's true.
All right, so tell us about
But
your involvement
Now,
in the translation of these games.
Now, just to reintroduce Noah Steam and the projects that I shared with him, he's integrally responsible for bringing an English patch for Dragon Force 2 and for Sakura Wars. Now, Noah, I got a question for you on the Dragon Force 2. Now, that was going on for several years, I think, even before I got on there. Compared to the Sakura Wars project, which one of those was more difficult, challenging, would you say, to work on?
So Dragon Force 2, I really have to credit Faust Wolf for that. By the time I joined, they had figured out a lot of the technical stuff, where's all the data and, moving stuff around memory, so on and so forth. What they really needed help with was actually inserting all the text back into the game, fixing up because if you insert data back into the game, there's a bunch of other stuff you have to worry about and fix up along with it, right? And doing that by hand would have taken several lifetimes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I did, is I'm like, okay, tell me where all the data is. And I looked at it, and they had already figured out the formats of it. So it was pretty easy writing a tool. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, when you put text back into a game, if the length of that string, for example, if the Japanese said, hello world, and you're putting that back in, chances are, you're going to have more characters than the original Japanese, because, a lot of times they're using kanji, and kanji is a symbolic language. So they'll have 2 symbols, right, to say a lot of stuff. And you're putting in an English equivalents that might be multiple, letters. So when you do that, you basically have to shift all the data down, right? Because otherwise you're going to overwrite the stuff that came after it. And anytime you do that, then you have to fix up data pointers that were in those files that were saying like, okay, like 10 bytes down is like the next string, for example. But it's not going to be 10 bytes down anymore. It's going to be like 20, for example. So that's one of the more challenging parts about doing ROM hacks is that you actually have to figure, like, you have to find where all those pointers live. And if you miss any single one of them, you're going to get corrupted data, or at worst, you're going to crash the game. So
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh man,
It's like a house of cards, man. It's like one little wrong move, the whole thing goes down.
Dragon Force 2, it had more text pretty much than Sakura Wars, right? Sakura Wars, it looked like there was a lot of text files, but they weren't, I don't think, they probably had a lot less dialogue than Dragon Force 2, right? Probably?
well, Sakura Wars is basically a visual novel, so it had a lot of text.
Right. More than Dragon Force?
I guess I didn't look at the line count for Dragon Force, but I know Sakura Wars had about 35,000 lines of dialogue. Yeah, and I think Dragon Force 2 was comparable, if not a little less.
Wow. Oh, wow. I wouldn't have suspected that Dragon Force 2 had less text. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, Dark had a ton of text, but Sakura Wars has, I mean, it's a visual novel, so there's a ton of text there. And the problem with Sakura Wars was, like, the complication was that, I guess on several fronts, but one of the things was they actually had text embedded within images, which, Dragon Force did not. So I had to actually extract the image data, like figure out how to do that, figure out the file formats, extract that stuff out, and then, get someone to, fix those images. And some of them, we had 2 artists who helped out. And yeah, and then we put it back in. And Sakura Wars also had compression going on. So yeah, like, it was definitely, at least the stuff that I did was a bit more complicated than Dragon Force 2, like what I did on Dragon Force 2.
Wow. That's impressive, considering that it only took you maybe, 2 years, I guess, maybe to translate Sakura Wars?
Yeah. So, yeah, it took me about 2 years. The thing is that when I started this, in order to do a ROM hack, I really had to figure out the Saturn hardware itself. So the thing that I started with was I actually read through the documentation for the VDP-1, which is, one of the graphical chips on the Saturn.
Uh-huh.
That's like, like a 200-page document, but for, like, a geek like me, that's fun and interesting. So I actually read, so I could figure out, like, how does this thing, like, how are the image formats stored, essentially? How does it render stuff? Where, how's memory laid out? All that stuff. So at the beginning, it does feel pretty daunting. Like, how do I make sense of this at all? But, like the Saturn emulators, they actually have pretty good debuggers, like Yabose and Mednafin.
I don't think I've used those. The ones
I've used them.
You've used those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're good.
The one with a Y is pretty good. I can never get the M1 to work. It's like some weird thing you got to set up for it. But I heard it does good.
Unfortunately, Mednafin does not have like a GUI interface. It's command line, so it can be a little bit daunting, but it's really not that difficult once you get a hang of it. But it is a really good emulator. Like Yabose has an awesome debugger. It's like an amazing, almost like a professional quality debugger, but the emulation itself is not that great. So, like, when we were doing Dragon Force 2, we actually really couldn't use Yabose very much because during battles, if you had too many troops on the screen, it would crash.
I remember that was a problem. Yeah, I remember that was an issue. I think the emulator I used was like the SF something or whatever. I think that was the one that I used. There was settings that you guys had on the forums, and I was able to actually play the game. So I was like, yes, this is awesome. I get 100 troops versus 100 troops, and the battles were crazy. That definitely was crazy.
Yeah, that's also a really good emulator, but unfortunately it has no debugger.
Oh, yeah.
So when doing like a ROM hack, it's kind of useless.
Wow.
Yeah, Saturn was always one of the hardest systems to emulate.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised to see anything on it.
Yeah.
That was recent.
I actually played through Dragon Force 2 in Japanese.
In Japanese, you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I played through 2 scenarios or 3.
How much Japanese do you know now?
None. 0.
Hey, Noah, what got you into the game programming?
Let me think. I mean, I was playing ever since I was a kid, and at some point during high school, I think I saw one of my cousins, actually one of my older cousins. He was taking like a programming class in high school, and growing up, he was like an older brother to me, and he had written this really simple program that it was like in QBasic, which is like a super simple language, and all it did was draw like a red line across the screen, like this thick red bar, and I was like, oh my god, that's like Cyclops, that's so cool. I was like, how do you do that? And then that's kind of how I got into like programming, like, oh, so that's how games are made. And then when I was in high school, I saw a TV ad for Digipen, which is a game programming school up in Washington State. So I'm like, oh, I want to go there. When I'm done with high school, I'm going to go there. So I ended up going there, and I graduated, and landed a job in the game industry, and been there ever since. So yeah,
That's awesome, man.
That's very cool.
That's really dope. What was the game that got you into games?
Mario 1.
Really? Super Mario 1. Okay.
Nice.
Even before that, I did have like an Atari. I don't know what Atari something, and I did enjoy
2600.
that. Probably, yeah. And that had like this flight. You don't want to call it flight sim, but like this airplane game where you're sitting behind the cockpit. And I remember, like, as a 6-year-old or whatever I was, 7-year-old. I don't even know how old I was, but I thought that was so cool. Like, oh my god, I'm landing this plane. Seeing Super Mario for the first time, like that was revolutionary. I was like, oh my god, like, so fluid, and you can act the guy. So yeah, I mean, like, I think ever since then, I was into games.
All right,
Nice.
that actually I lied. I have two.
Oh,
I have a backup question to that.
I was
because
going to say, real
you
quick,
do
I was going
this
to
all the
say,
time.
Miyamoto's the man.
Yeah.
For making that. He's awesome.
The second part question would be, it's probably one of the toughest questions I ask every single guest that we have on. What is your favorite game all time?
Not tough.
That would also be Mario 1.
Really?
Super Mario 1? Really? Okay.
I respect that. I
Okay.
respect that choice.
Like it's one of those questions where it's like, if you're stuck on an island and there was no other game, like what game would you have? Well, it's Mario 1. Like, I can play that game every day and not get sick of it.
It was short. Yeah, you could finish Mario.
Simplicity is very underrated, man. I'm telling you, very underrated simplicity.
Yeah, Mario 1. Oh, yeah.
It's a
I like it.
classic.
It is a classic.
It's a
That seems to
classic.
be a favorite on the podcast
Yeah, I know.
recently.
A lot of people say, a lot of people say Mario,
Mario
1.
1, wow.
All right.
Classic.
So I got a question. So what game titles, Saturn or otherwise, that are only import that have yet to be translated, would you want to be brought over domestically?
There's this RPG which I recently found out about, like Washin Rotor or something like that. It's basically a strategy RPG, and it's using the Shining Force 3 engine.
Really?
Wow.
There's another game that uses that engine. What?
Yeah, that's cool.
You just blew his mind over here.
What's the name of that game again?
A German name, so I'm not even pronouncing it right, probably, but Washin Rotor, I think.
Washington Road.
Yeah, like WASCHENRODER. But yeah, I mean, I was interested in it just because I was like, wow, I didn't know any other game used the engine from Shining Force 3, because back in those days, I mean, that's pretty rare for a game, for like a totally different company to use another company's game engine. That usually didn't happen back then, especially in
I can imagine. But now I gotta see that game. I want to see what it looks
I'm
like.
actually taking a look at it right now.
So there are titles that have have recently come out, or some that haven't yet, that have been translated for years and years and years, like Soiken and Setsu, the sequel. Which one was that? 2 or 3?
2?
3?
That isn't over here?
Yeah, the one that came over in the collection.
Oh.
So that one. And Mother 3, which everyone has been dying for.
Yeah.
And it's been translated.
Great fan translations.
It's been fans translated. So what is the thing that stops these companies? Maybe you'll know, but what stops the companies like Nintendo or Square or whatever for bringing these titles out, even though it's been fan translated?
I mean, because when they release it, they're not really gonna rely on the fan translation. I mean, it'd be awesome if Sega reached out to us and be like, hey, let's actually release Sakura Wars or Dragon Force 2, but usually it doesn't happen. Like, I don't think that's ever happened. So they basically have to do it from scratch, and it just comes down to money. Like, their marketing department will do some research and be like, yep, I don't think this is going to be worth it.
But if they came to one of you guys and was like, here's $100, can we use this? Because you guys do it out of your heart. You're not for the money. So it's like, if they say we'll put your name in this and give you credit and we'll release this to everybody, limited run, whatever they have to do. Why? I'm just trying to understand why they would not do it and have to hire a whole nother translation company to go through rather than just play the game and be like, hey, that's pretty good. Like, it'll take 40 hours maybe to see what you did and be like, okay, that's good enough. Maybe we'll change this sentence here.
Right.
Instead of hiring a whole new person to go through from scratch and do it the way they want to do.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it for free. This one,
Yeah.
it's like a labor of love. We're not in it for the money. It's just like, it's kind of like preserving the legacy of this platform that, we hold really dearly, like have a lot of memories attached to it, and kind of want to pay homage to the people who worked on this, like these games, to have it, exposed to a wider audience. Like that's really what I want. And I think that's what a lot of people want who work on, fan translations, which is kind of it's kind of like off topic, but there's groups out there who will take these fan translations and burn a copy and sell it, and that's pretty shitty. That's really shitty.
That is shitty, man.
People, like me and everyone who worked on this game and who work on other translation projects, it's a ton of work. It's a lot of hard work, and we're doing it for free. And then to have someone to take all that work and sell it to make a quick buck off it is really crappy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys are pouring years of time into it.
Yeah, man. Labor of love, and
like, it's taken advantage of us, and it's really, so I would really encourage anyone listening, like, not to buy those. Those, bootlegs. They'll make like this, take a DVD case, slap some, crappy art on it, and sell it.
that's crazy, man.
That's nuts.
I wouldn't even think that people would do that shit, man.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
But if the companies would actually come out and bring them out and sell them, then that would stop all the bootlegging.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like, the patch is free. And the games usually, like, especially Saturn imports, are really cheap. Like, you can get Sakura Wars for $10.
Really? I didn't know that they were that cheap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because Saturn was really popular in Japan, right? It even outsold 4 out there. So there's a lot of copies of these popular games. So you can get them really cheap. Like, recently I just imported Grandia on Saturn, and that was like $8 shipped.
What?
That's
$8.
cheap.
That just
Ships.
Grandia 1 and 2 came out for the Switch
shit.
recently also.
Yeah, it did.
So
The collection.
Yeah, I'm thinking about
I never
played the
part
first one. Yeah, I played the first
Part 2 was
Grandia.
awesome.
Same
Yeah,
here.
it
Part 2
really
was
was.
Part 2 I love. That was one of my.
Saturn had some like
They
really
had some bangers.
dope
Yeah.
games.
It did.
Like,
It
I
really did.
released.
No, I have a quick question from Reyes World TV. He wants to know what PlayStation games you play.
Nope.
I hope you got your answer there.
No, do we still have it?
That means none.
Did you hear the question, Noah?
Like the original PlayStation?
Any PlayStation games?
I mean, PS4 is my primary console these days. So, as I said, I'm Origins, but I think my favorite PlayStation console was probably PS2. Um, so many classic franchises, like amazing franchises started on there. Devil May Cry, and that was my first exposure to Final Fantasy as well. I mean, I knew about Final Fantasy 7. I didn't play it back in the day, right? So 10 was the first I played, and it blew me away. Like that was an amazing game. My first time playing a Metal Gear game. So I love that console. It's an awesome system. Oh, Shadow of Rome, actually.
Shadow of Rome.
Yeah, it's one of my like all-time favorites on PS2. Very underappreciated game.
Shadow of Rome.
That's a good game, man.
Okay.
So for those who don't know, try it out.
Now, Noah, quick question. You wrote the text insertion and extraction tools for those two games, Sakura Wars and Dragon Force 2. How long does it take to make that tool? The tool that's going to insert the text and take it out. How long is it easy to do? How many hours do you have to put into something like that with your skill?
It depends on the game. Like as I said with Dragon Force 2, because Frostwolf had already figured out the file formats, it's difficult to write a tool, around that information. But with Sakura Wars, it was, I was writing it until the very end, right? Because my tool did everything. It extracted the data. It updated the font sheets. It updated the images. It uncompressed stuff. It compressed stuff back. There's like 20 steps into actually patching the game. So that thing ended about 13,000 lines of code.
That sounds difficult.
C++ is very.
I tried
know-
C++.
Yeah, I did. I'm very basic.
Not good at it.
Very basic.
I can't even type C++.
I'm a very, very basic C++ like knowledge, man. Very, very basic.
Yeah,
Wow.
I tried it and no.
I made one game out of what was it? It was a fan-made game that I took the code of and I gave them the credit or whatever. I just made it for myself just to learn. And the way I learned the code and what was going on, I just deleted lines and then did the debugging to see what it did.
Jeez, man.
And I did each fucking line just to see like,
Just hearing that is overwhelming.
But
to
that's
me.
how I learned.
I'm
how,
like
Yeah.
completely overwhelmed and not even doing
so,
anything.
but I can understand like that must have been, my god, a monumental.
When you say thousand lines of code,
Yeah,
I'm like,
that is-
man, listen, for everything that you said on there, it's all thousands and thousands of
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So to look at that
And
and be
this-
like, okay, I'm gonna
And
do
this
that.
is coming from me who had no training like at all, and like
It's got to be a
learning
huge
computer.
undertaking.
yeah,
That's fun.
Completely.
When you're trying to learn programming, like that's definitely
yeah.
a good way to just dive into it and start exploring.
That's what I did, man.
I think what was harder for me more than like the technical stuff was finding translators, because I had no idea where to find translators, right? So, and that's where Turbo really came in.
That's why I came in.
Yeah. I was like, wait, how do we get translators for Dragon Force 2? And I was reading the forums and I was like, oh, it was this guy, right? So then I ended up emailing him and I'm like, hey, can you, because for Dragon Force 2, you ended up getting like a small army of translators.
Yeah, I found a lot. I was able to.
That's
I was
awesome.
going on sites to get them, and at first it was like, these are like professional, like they already had jobs and stuff. They're like, well, my rate is this an hour, this now. I was like,
Oh.
no, I need someone who's going to be a fan project, whatever. So I found like, I found like a website, Translation for Progress, and they have people on there who are skilled. They have this. Then they're trying to build their resume and get on some projects. A lot of them is translated like instruction booklets, different pamphlets and things like that. Small things. But when I put the post for a video game, a lot of people jumped on that because, being a part of translating a script from a Japanese script to an English script for a video game is massive. It's a massive project. You put a lot of hours into it and you get a lot of practice and experience from that. So, I found that site and put people on projects for Dragon Force. I assigned them to different stuff, and they were able to translate the script.
Wow.
But Noah took care of that, all of that for the Sakura Wars one. I just found the translators, but you assigned them the assignments. Did you take care of the script writing on that? After they translated, who took care of the script writing afterwards?
So we had CJ Iwakura.
Uh-huh.
He did all the editing, and then later on when we were testing, basically everyone that was still on the team helped the editing as well. So we had this person called Bull of Lentils, and he was a huge fan of the game, and he, him and Crouching Mouse, who was one of the translators that you hooked me, she, went through the game and just really fixed up the script like a lot. Just unifying, because I think in total we had probably like 15 or 20 translators in total that translated all these files.
Yeah.
And everyone has their own style of writing and all that stuff. So um, at some point you have to go through and unify it all, like make sure that people are translating certain keywords the same way, right?
Right.
So the people who handle that, CJ and Crouching Mouse and Bowl of Lentils, like did an awesome job of just like, going over everything with, like just really carefully. And it turned out great.
Wow.
I gotta play Sakura Wars. I've known about that game for years, but I was just like, it never came over here. I think they came out with one game, right? Didn't they come out with something for one of the PlayStation consoles? Which one? It wasn't the first one though. It was like another one. It was which one?
The fifth one.
The fifth one or something like that. And everyone's like, "Oh, where's the first one?" And everyone talks about people who play them, say how classic they are, and the strategy role playing also.
Didn't they recently announce another one was coming out for the newer systems?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Shin Sakura Wars, which is already out in Japan, but we plan to release it here. Now, Shin Sakura Wars is like it's kind of like a reboot, kind of. So it doesn't really have the cast of the original games. Neither did Sakura Wars 5, really. It kind of did, but not really. For the most part, it was a complete new cast. So people out in the West, they never got to enjoy the original games, like Sakura Wars 1 through 4, essentially.
Yeah.
And those are based off the animes, right? Those
No,
are characters
anime
out in there.
game.
Oh, okay. So the animes are based on the game.
Yeah.
Oh.
So in
Interesting.
Japan, they actually had like live action plays for it, and like the theme song was like on the top 10, like radio list when it came out.
Wow.
Yeah, so it made a big impact.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
just got it here.
It's got a cult following. Yeah.
So you hear that Sega, bring it out with the fan translation. Just bring it out.
If I
Yeah.
could get anybody from Sega on the podcast, man,
And then you'll be like, wake up.
I'd be like, come on, like.
I would definitely play Dragon Force 2.
Oh, Dragon Force 2 is amazing, man. That game is Dragon Force 1, Dragon Force 2.
You played with the English translations or no?
You damn right.
Yeah, the
right.
patience.
Well, the funny
I
thing
mean-
is, when I played through Dragon Force 2 with the translations, it was awesome. And can you believe I knew exactly what line he was responsible for before even asking him? I know him too well. I said, that's something he would say. I said, is that your fucking line? He's like, yep. I'm like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew you would say something like that.
I did a bit
It
of
was,
script writing for Dragon Force 2. And what was it Avarice? That was the character you were playing as?
Well, no, I was the Highland Kingdom, but
Yeah, that's Alvin, right? That's Alvin.
yeah,
Sorry,
Alvin, yeah. But the guy with the kung fu guy.
All right, that's.
I'll whoop your ass right now. I said that's Kevin. That's Kevin. He said that. He said that. I'm like, he said that. I'm like, only he would type some shit like that.
You got to get a shirt
I-
that says that.
Yeah.
Well, if I whoop your ass right now,
Yeah. That was
Yeah, yeah.
instantly something you would translate.
That is
Dragon Force,
hilarious.
I knew that
I'll
shit.
kick your ass right now.
people gotta play those games. The
No, that
script
game,
is crazy.
Dragon Force 2 is so good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I want to play through the
So-
translated version.
Yeah.
Fucking
You gotta do it, man. You gotta do
But if
it.
you played the Japanese one, I don't see why
I know you play
wouldn't
the
American.
Japanese one,
Yeah.
so it's like you gotta
Yeah,
play
right?
through the
I
English.
had no patience.
I played through it like 1.5 times.
Spoilers. So if you want to play these games,
Too soon.
like the translated versions, the only way to do it is either on a chipped Saturn or an emulator, or is there any other way to play it?
Yeah, you can play it on emulator. That's like the easiest way to do it. And contrary to popular belief, Saturn emulation is actually really good these days. You can use SSF, which is what we use while testing the game, or you
That's what I got.
you can use Endorphin, which is a really good emulator. Um, so either one of those, and yeah, if you're intimidated by like the command line approach of using Mendefin, you can actually use it via RetroArch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're familiar with that.
I think it's called Beetle on their Beetle core.
Yeah, I might have to look into that.
Yeah.
'Cause I definitely want to play it in English.
Yeah, you'll need a copy of the original game or an image of it, and then you download the patch. And the patching instructions are really easy. Although with all these games, including Soccer Wars, you can actually find like pre-patched versions online, like um, ISOs or whatever.
There's some sites that have all the translated games that were done on there. I've seen some. I don't know the names of them, but Google, that'll help.
Yeah.
Google's the answer to everything.
Yep.
Yeah, so I got my Berserk translation for part 2 for PlayStation 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh, I didn't know that was translated.
Yeah. When you fight the snowman, like.
Oh, I didn't know that was translated either.
Yeah.
I always wondered what was going on in there.
I found a bunch of games that were translated that I had no idea. I was like, yo, I could play all of this. There's a lot of role players.
It's the passion of video games, man. People will make it happen.
Yeah.
Love that.
Seriously.
Did you play that on emulator, or how'd you play that?
I played it on the chipped system. I had an image of it that I had to burn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I also tried it on an emulator also beforehand just to see if it worked. So yeah, there's a couple of ways I played it.
I'm intrigued that Berserk 2 was actually.
It was translated.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued. But the new one that came out, Van for the Hawk. I mean, I was all good with that. So.
Yeah,
no issue with there.
Yeah, Band the Hall covered that story.
Yeah,
so it's just like if you
yeah.
go through that, it's like there's no
Yeah, you're
real
good with
reason
that.
to play the other one.
It was
okay.
fucking dope. Really dope.
Yeah, that PS2 one was hard.
Oh,
It was pretty rough. I got past the first boss. I'm like, I'm done.
no, that's a tough game. That's a tough game.
I can imagine.
Very tough game.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anything else, I guess?
That's it for me, man.
Noah, what next? Are there any next translation projects that you're trying to be a part of, or any games on your sites that you want to translate next?
To be honest, I'm kind of taking a break from that scene right now because it's so time consuming.
It is.
Okay.
It really is.
Need a vacation.
Yeah.
I think Soccer Wars was probably like 600 hours worth of work for me.
Oh,
Wow.
How much? Say again?
Only? That's
600
it?
hours.
I'm just kidding.
600 hours.
That's, and when you have like a kid, that's like all your free time,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Yes.
So it's like basically working late nights, right? It's like the only, like when the kid goes to sleep, that's the only time I get. And so yeah, it was really tough. That's why like for the past like year and a half, I haven't really played any games because it'd always be like, well, I could play this game or I could work on this translation project, right? So and it was one of those things where there's a lot of translation projects which I feel like they just take forever. Like, I've been waiting for them for so long to come out, and I can understand it's a ton of work, but for me, it's like if I'm gonna say I'm doing it, I announce it on Twitter. So if I'm gonna say I'm doing it, then to me it's like, well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna finish it and get it out there. Especially for games that are this old, like the longer it takes for you to put it out, I imagine like the less people are even going to be aware of it. So, and there's also always the fear of like, oh my God, what if Sega actually, re-releases this for some reason? That happens too. Like with Moon, I don't know if you guys heard about that one on PlayStation.
Moon, yeah.
No.
Moon was like an RPG on the original PlayStation. And, this fan group was working on it for a while and they were almost done. And, someone announced, like some company announced that they're actually going to, release it out here in the States. And, it's kind of a bummer for those guys because like I've got to release this. There's been so much work put into it.
No, it's true. And what your story you just said reminded me of, you familiar with Tales of Vesperia? That translation that was going on?
I didn't know there was a fan translation going
for
on.
the PS, because when we first got it for 360, there was extra content in the PS3 one. So there's a bunch of people who are just like, okay, cool, that needs to be translated because we got shafted on extra content. But then Namco just brought it out like for the Switch. So, and that translation was almost done too. So it's all the work.
Imagine working on it. And shit comes out like,
It just comes out and it's like, it's great to see it out, but it's like
all that
work that was put into it. It's like, goes down the toilet.
That hurts.
Yeah, exactly. So, especially because Sega's now, like reinvested in this franchise. They just redid this. They just did this new game. So I was like, well, maybe they'll actually release the original games again on the Switch, or I don't know, something. And they didn't. But one of the hopes is that they'll see like, hey, someone did a fan translation, so there must be some interest in the community, and that'll actually get them to release these games. Just prod them a little bit.
We're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to prod them a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Try to get them to do it.
And just
It doesn't seem to work.
spread it on social
right?
media.
Speaking into reality, it's going to
will
happen.
happen.
I'm telling you, man.
Listen,
Speak it to
will
reality.
There are
happen.
titles that have been made for a long time. They just don't care.
Yep.
Listen,
I want to know the magic. I want to know what makes them say, hey, this is what's going to make it happen. I mean, I know they just look at numbers, and that hurts so much.
Yeah.
But a fan translation, if it's already done like a Mother 3, like, come on, Nintendo should have just jumped on that.
I should know that.
They
will
should
happen.
say,
Right.
could I take your
It will.
translation? People, and this is the thing, most people who do these translations like
Right.
us will free. Take it for free, make the
Right.
game, put it into the game, put it out for the masses so they could do it.
I
you
heard
know?
there was stuff in that game they had to get out of it to bring it to America. Like there's like religious stuff or
Religious stuff?
something. I'm not sure
We're
exactly
not
what
as
it is.
sensitive as we used
Yeah,
to
you
be.
know
We
what?
could
I'm not
take
We're
saying-
way more
It
sensitive than we
probably
used to
was
be.
made around the time where it's like
Right.
certain things were acceptable in games.
Right.
And now they're like, oh no, everyone's sensitive now,
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
eliminate this shit.
And Earthbound 1 or
Come on.
Mother 2, they had like hooded purple people, and that's not a good thing to bring out in America
Yeah, it's
as
like
a
some-
character.
Some KKK shit right there.
And they bring it out in America, you're like, no, they're purple. Don't worry about it. But that didn't seem to offend anybody.
Nah, man.
And it didn't. I was playing, it was funny.
Listen.
So they weren't
We've
doing
gone
anything bad.
soft.
Unless
Yeah.
in Mother 3 they are doing stuff that is very offensive.
We're too soft.
they
We're
meant
too
to do
soft
that.
But I
nowadays.
haven't
We're too
heard it.
soft. We're too
I haven't
soft.
heard
Well, there's
anything.
things that were out like only a few years ago that can't, like, if they brought it back now, it would be like, what the heck?
But whatever that is, according to the translation, has to be changed in game wise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
so-
just words.
We're soft. We're just, that's what it is. We're just soft.
Yeah.
They're
That's
bringing it
all.
out though.
Hey, Noah, I got a couple of projects. If you need to translate something.
Man, you better let this man rest.
No, no.
Let this man have his
If you
break.
ever get, no, I
He
understand.
needs free time.
As a father, you have to budget your free time. We budget our
Yes.
free time. Is what we do. But if you ever find yourself with extra free time and you
You got
need an
an
extra
Assassin's Creed to
project, huh? Well, yeah,
You got an
yeah.
Assassin's Creed to
And
play.
these are going to Odyssey.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
going to take a lot of time too.
No, just do
Super Chinese World 2 and 3. They need translation.
What?
Yo, you
are
bust
you
that,
talking
you
about
bust
right
that old culture blade.
What?
Wow.
Super Famicom, man. It's
Wow.
we got
it
Super
out, check it
Chinese. We got
Check it out.
Super Ninja Boy, which was Super Chinese World. Was that 2?
Yeah,
I forgot. I think it was Chinese World 2.
Yo, he busted out the culture
I can.
brain.
I'll help out with the artwork. Just do help me out with the Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll help
Hold on,
out with
something
the
it's
artwork.
translated.
I'll
you don't
do-
need that
no,
translated?
not translated. He'll program it. We'll make it
Wow,
happen.
wow.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. It's gonna happen.
No, he's
We're
not.
gonna have the animation.
Noah, don't
I'll
listen
work
to
on.
them.
I'll do the animation.
Don't listen to them, Noah. Just ignore them both.
Noah, you're on vacation,
You're on
brother.
vacation, all right? Take
There's
your
a
break.
culture-
Enjoy your time. Don't
A
listen
culture
to them.
brain,
Please,
a
please,
culture
whatever.
brain game has like 5 sentences in it, so you might be okay
That
with
is
that.
pretty easy, though. That is pretty easy. That's like, I can translate
Just the
that.
fighting menu, get that done, we're good.
The funny menu.
We need to get someone from Culture Brain on the podcast. For real.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're
We'll have to
gone.
find them. We'll have
They're
to
gone.
find them, get over here and grill them.
Oh.
That's
They're
what we're
gone.
going to have to do.
Show me how to get the engine. Man.
Oh, man.
Actually, no. I mean, what are you?
Someone's actually doing a fan translation of Castlevania Symphony of the Night for Saturn.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Really?
There you
Yeah.
go. So there you,
So-
go.
Excuse
You can play as Maria now,
There you go. Exactly. There you go.
and then you have a shitty extra level that's in like the garden.
Isn't that
Shut up.
crazy? We never
Shut
even
up.
got this. We never got the Saturn version of Symphony of the Night.
Get the PSP
No.
one.
It would have sold.
Get the
Something.
PSP one. No,
Yeah, the PSP
remake.
one had the
Get the
extra,
remake one. That's a better one.
Yeah.
But
That's negative.
what is it? What is your thoughts on that? The Google translator for the computer that can translate 8-bit games on the fly.
That's a good question.
If you've heard of that.
I didn't know about that.
Oh, yeah,
was
they were
on,
working on it. I haven't heard much of it since, but it was one of our news a while ago.
It was on the core of
It was in RetroArch.
RetroArch.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
RetroArch they have a thing that can
It
do
was an update. That
translations of simple kanji on the fly, so you can understand
Yes.
like some menus or something like that if you
Yeah.
needed to get through a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was pretty interesting.
Google Translate is usually pretty awful translating Japanese. So
Mm-hmm.
either way, you would be reading like, gibberish. But hey, I mean, it's a cool idea though. As Google, I suppose, is Google Translate even out of beta yet? I don't even know.
I
Good
believe
question.
so. I haven't heard of them being much in beta, right? For a time.
No, it's out of beta. It's been out.
Maybe it's out now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would butcher like sentences and stuff like that.
because it's a literal.
Yeah.
The thing about it's like a literal.
If it's a
translation.
word here and there, I think
Yeah.
it'll be fine for that, like end,
Right.
start, and stuff like that. But if it says,
Yeah.
"Hey, how is it going?" it's gonna be like totally
Oh
different.
man.
Yeah, because oftentimes it'll take like character names and actually try to translate those, and we'll get like something totally nonsensical. Like with Dragon Force 2, actually, when I was testing school, I took all the Japanese that was extracted, put it into Google Translate, and put that back into the game, and it was, it was still pretty unplayable.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's like a garbled mess. Yeah, when
can
you go,
imagine.
you take Japanese, you throw it into Google
Yeah.
Translate. It needs a script writer. Like you
Yeah.
have to you'll see some English. It's just bad English.
Well,
it's
you
like
have
it'll
one.
be
You have one kanji, whatever, that can mean freaking
Yeah.
like 100 different things. So it's like, how do you?
And it
determine
depends on the
that?
context and stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
man.
Yeah,
It's tough.
that's rough.
It's tough.
That's rough.
it's not easy.
But it's
Not
a
easy.
good concept though for them to have that, added to RetroArch.
Yeah, in its beta
Yeah.
form, it's nice.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens with it.
it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool concept.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
So,
Anybody
do you
else
have
have
any questions for us, Noah?
So you guys, it sounds like you guys all play Saturn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think most of us. Jay's
I
not
never
the biggest
owned it.
fan.
I never
Listen.
owned it.
This is the
I
hater.
played
We
it.
got
No,
the
I don't hate
haters.
it. I didn't have it. I actually no, I did have it. I had Virtua Fighter 2 and some soccer game that came in the system when I
See, I never
bought
owned
it.
it.
I bought it from a pawn shop. But no, I played a lot of the games for it. One of my boys, Boog, was a huge Saturn guy, and I played all the fighting games. Like I was the Daytona car fighting.
Yeah.
I was the Bronx.
Oh, Fighting
whatever.
Vipers,
Fighting
Last
Vipers,
Bronx.
yes.
Last Bronx. I played
Fighters
all of
Mega
those.
Mix was
I played
insane.
that shit at your
Legend
house.
of Oasis.
He had the Ram cart and played all the
Me too.
all the Capcom fighters
Marvel
and all
vs.
that.
Capcom.
Cannon Spike.
And that's how
sorry,
I know.
Dreamcast.
Oh man.
Wow.
Sorry. It felt like it came out for the side.
Wow. No.
Cannon Spike. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, I was a huge Dreamcast guy too, but Saturn, I had a PlayStation, so it was hard to get into a Saturn when you have a PlayStation already,
Yeah,
especially at the time.
You
Hated
guys had the Saturn. I remember when we first
Love
met.
the Saturn.
First
Three
time I
dirty
came over
drawers.
your house, man.
I love the Saturn.
You introduced me to the Saturn, man.
yeah,
that was the
three,
first.
three Dirty Dwarves, Shining
Yeah.
Force 3, Burning
Yeah.
Rangers,
Guardian Heroes.
Guardian Heroes, Dragon Force, Legend of Oasis. Just so many.
You named all of them.
I'm gonna
Magic-
throw this
So much
bottle
more.
at you if you keep talking about my Saturn.
Magic Knight
Magic
Ray
Knight
Earth.
Ray Earth. I was
Magic
gonna
Knight
say,
Ray Earth.
You
like,
had that.
There's just so
Yep.
many.
Yeah, yeah.
They need to. All those games I just named need to get remade and come back out again.
Oh,
It's
man.
Such
No,
a,
look at the Sega Ages releases. There's a lot of them in there.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about remakes.
Remix.
They were remade.
They're doing Panzer Dragoon, right?
Yes.
There's a-
Yeah.
well, like from what I've seen of the first one, like God bless those guys, but like I wasn't super impressed by it.
Oh,
So, but I really hope that it turns out good because I know they're also working on Zwei, which, like that game is like near and dear to my heart. Like that game is so amazing that I would, it would be a real shame if it, got remade after all these years and it didn't do the original game justice.
yeah.
Yeah.
That would suck.
I think it's the only like Pendragon Zwei is almost like a musical shooter, which I think a lot of people don't even realize because that game, like the music is actually choreographed to because it's on rails, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the music is actually choreographed to like everything you're going through, like a movie, right? So, like the soundtrack is done like a movie, and it's really cool. like no other game that I've played does that.
Rez.
Um,
Res, baby. You make your own music. in that,
Yeah,
basically, by yourself.
Yeah, but like, that first of all, the soundtrack for that game is amazing.
Oh yeah.
I remember.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
It's pretty good.
Choreographed with the action, like to actually what's going on, and that game had branching routes, and all those routes had their own like slight variation on the music that was going on. I don't know, like Sega did a lot of cool stuff musically back on the Saturday, maybe even a little bit afterwards. Like I don't know if you guys played Christmas Nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I had
Yes,
dots,
I watched
Yes.
you guys play that, man.
I played the original Nights.
right? So you could actually like create your own version of the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Did not know that. I knew that came free. It was like a bonus disc, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bonus. I don't know if it was ever meant to be like a sequel or something, but it came out as a bonus disc. But it had a lot of cool stuff on there, right? So you had to unlock it, right? So like you could play a Sonic or whatever. But I thought the coolest part was the music box where you could remix, the tracks.
That is awesome. I've never used that. Like I never even dabbled in that. That's crazy. I just remember the Fat Ball Boss with the.
That's like
with
the first one. Was it the first one maybe?
Yeah, I
First
think it
boss?
was.
I think it was like
Yeah,
the first
first one.
boss. Yeah, I remember beating him, and then Knights was in like it had like the Christmas hat, and that's all I could really remember of it.
Yes,
That's all you need.
That's
to
awesome. But
yeah.
I remember liking it. I do remember liking Christmas.
Christmas Nights was I didn't get a chance to mess. I probably maybe played it for like a little bit, but the first one I messed with.
Yeah.
I like the first Nights.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That was a classic game.
Man,
That
bring
was
back
awesome.
those Saturn classics, man. I'm dying for them.
All right.
I want to see the light gun games, man.
They can't.
Nah, they're dead. It's over.
Come on. I want to see a comeback, damn it.
So on that note,
Time-
Noah, let people know where to find you at.
On Twitter, usually you can find me there, at NoahSteam_.
Okay. So if you want to thank him for those translations that he put his hard time into,
Yes.
he put in more time than raising kids with that.
That was the kid.
That
That,
was
was
his
the third
kid.
kid.
That's his
the third
baby, man.
child.
It was a labor of love.
His children's names are Wine and Tears.
No, but it's like
So if you want to show appreciation, let him know. Let him know on his
Yes.
Twitter.
I got to give credit to my wife there for actually allowing me the time to work on the stuff.
That's awesome.
That's good.
She was like, "Are you done yet?" Like I'm like, really close. I've been training her for like a year. I'm like, really close. She's like, "Yeah, I don't believe you."
What's your wife's name?
Aisha.
Aisha?
Yeah.
Shout out to Aisha for
Good woman.
allowing Noah to make it happen.
Yes.
God, you make the world a better place. God
Good
bless
woman
you.
right there. You got a good
What a,
woman
what
right
a
there.
good woman for allowing her man to do what he needs to do.
yes.
God bless her.
That's great.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
We
That is
appreciate all the time you put into that
Absolutely.
No, we
man.
definitely do, man.
Yeah,
It's
seriously.
fucking awesome.
And for anybody out there who's a fan of Sega Saturn, especially the Japanese strategy role-playing classics, you definitely want to check out Dragon Force 2 and Secure Wars. I'm going to make sure that there's links in the description so people could check a look at the patch.
Definitely.
Try to get that going so you could play and you could actually see the hard love and work that was put into this.
Why you look like you're in pain when
He
you
sounds
talk?
like he's
Yeah,
constipated.
He's that passionate, man.
Noah, do you notice that when he's
It's
talking,
crazy.
it looks like he's in pain? I don't know what's going on with him.
No, he just sounds constipated.
Yeah, he sounds constipated on the
I think of the work that went into. I did a lot of work just putting in for the script writing for Dragon Force 2, and even just like the emails back and forth, the signing. It's a lot of work that goes into this. So the translators definitely deserve a lot of credit. A lot of time goes into translating
Dude,
all
that's
that.
passion.
That's
That's
a
passion, man.
labor of love right
That's
there.
all
man.
passion.
It takes that right there.
That's all
you know?
passion.
People don't
and love.
understand. They don't understand the programming that goes into just getting that to fit in there and getting
Yeah.
the game to still work the same way.
To make a
Yeah.
masterpiece for
It's not
everybody
just-
to enjoy.
And the organization, it's like one person can't do all that.
No.
You know,
No.
it takes huge. It's a huge effort from everybody involved. And for something like that, when you see an English patch made,
Hell yeah.
it's a tremendous labor of love, and
Yes.
it's really, really amazing. You know,
You don't
so
just type it in Word, cut and paste.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would ruin the whole shit. That's why I don't program.
All right, man.
But
So,
yo, man,
both of those games are excellent. So definitely check those games out.
Noah, thank you very much once again, man.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure meeting you in the flesh, Noah.
Everyone out there, Hit Noah up on Twitter, right?
Yes.
Noah Steam _ Do that.
Keep up the good work and enjoy your time taking a little break from everything.
Yeah, man.
Catch up on those damn games.
Catch up on those games, man. Take a break.
Yeah, this is my entire backlog right here. I haven't played.
Oh, man.
You got a lot of work to do, man.
You got
a lot of work to do.
We'll hear
All right,
from
when
you in 3 years.
Yeah.
All right. When you get through the top row, come back on the show. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah. There you go. Good one, man.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Okay.
You have a good one.
Thank you so
Good.
much,
Thank you
Noah.
for your time, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
Pleasure.
That's Noah's theme,
That was
y'all.
pretty good, man.
That was awesome.
Doing the damn thing. You know, when Level 857 gets people on the podcast, it's all about passionate people who love what they do. We're passionate about games. They're passionate about games, and we love to talk about that stuff.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, sir.
That's what we're about, man.
Gaming
long way.
brings all these different types of people together. It's amazing. And if it wasn't for the internet and the passion, you couldn't have a translation like that.
Nah, man.
Yeah, you
Couldn't
couldn't
have
have
it
that.
done.
Yeah.
You know?
Couldn't have it done.
And we can't do it without people like you guys out there who subscribe to our channel. Thank you for everybody who did it. But if you haven't, please, and you want to see more of us,
You right there.
you want to see more of us, hit that subscribe button.
You in the back.
Hit that notification bell.
Bang.
To see all that stuff. You don't miss nothing.
Nah,
You don't
damn.
miss nothing.
Yeah, you.
No, nothing.
Tell your grandma.
No, nothing.
I see y'all.
But yeah, make sure you do that. If you want to listen to our podcast and you're not seeing this live or you don't have time to see it or whatever it is, we're on all those streaming services, man.
You damn right.
All that good stuff. What services are we on?
All of them.
We're
All
on
of them.
Apple Podcasts,
Yeah.
Google,
Yeah.
Spotify,
Spotify.
Stitcher,
Oh.
Radio Public,
Oh.
Castbox,
Oh.
Pocket Cast,
Oh.
Overcast,
Oh.
and even iHeartRadio.
Dreamcast?
Oh.
Dreamcast.
Dreamcast. We're on the Dreamcast?
On Dreamcast.
Yo, watch that shit go fucking live. Like, what the
That'd be hilarious.
But yeah, make sure you do that to show your support, man. Follow us on all that. And as well as that, be sure to stay tuned because the next podcast, we're going to have a very, very special guest.
Who is that?
Who is the special guest we got?
Who is that?
Don't
We
tell
got a
them.
game.
Who is that?
We got
Surprise.
a game.
Developer.
All right, you know what?
Is it game developer?
Let's talk. We'll just. I'll say
Give
it
a
real-
hint.
I'm going to say it real quick. Let's see if you guys can. Let me say
I knew it. I knew
He
it.
didn't say nothing.
I knew it.
He said, "It's a surprise, y'all. You'll get, actually, if you're watching this live, you're gonna know tomorrow because we're gonna post up the promo. So y'all
Yeah.
are gonna
Stay tuned.
know. And also, very importantly, because we have a challenge, right? We have a challenge.
What is that challenge?
The challenge is you subscribe to our channel, you follow us on all our social media, and if you hit 500
On
on
any one of them.
those,
Hot sauce challenge.
we're gonna do the hot sauce challenge live
Yep.
during the podcast.
on the podcast.
Where are we
man.
closest? Which one are we closest to getting the 500?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Anybody
Get
know
on
the
there.
exact number?
I think we're 96.
96 away.
Yeah, 96 away.
Tell everyone.
That's it, man.
Tell
Within the
everyone.
next
Share the
hour.
video with a friend, man. Let people know because we're gonna fucking
Could
burn
get that
our
the next hour. You never know. You never know.
Hey, we're trying to burn our
You
faces
see these
off.
smiles on
You're
our
giving
faces? It's gonna be gone when we get
Yeah,
there.
we're gonna go through a whole podcast suffering with the hot sauce, the news, everything.
Oh,
That's just
dude.
not gonna
This
be
is-
fun.
I'm not looking forward to
That's
this.
just
But
gonna be awful because my tolerance has been down. I had Taco Bell recently, and
Yeah.
that shit was too hot for me.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
never happened to me.
Wow.
and you just had
You're
mild. Let me
soft.
stop.
Yeah,
You just had mine.
SAWFT.
Yeah,
Soft.
Not
real.
looking, not looking forward to it.
real.
Tolerance lowered. Tolerance lowered. So, but
Until next time.
yeah, until next time, man.
We out.
Thank you once again.
Thank you guys so much for
And-
watching. We appreciate y'all.